Morning, good evening. All right.
You know what? It helps if your microphone as the host is not muted. So I take a bow already. So everyone saw my talking head at me already. That's perfect. Off to a good stream so far. uh, Good morning, everyone. My name is Colin Bressie. I am the crazy crafter who forgets to unmute his microphone at the beginning of the stream every now and again, and today is one of those days. Right? I am joined as always by my dear friends Michael Patterson from That One Videos, whom you heard speak already just fine, and then as always, Daniel West as well. Good morning, my friend. How are you?
Always happy to be here.
Yay! And then today our featured guest, Cross from Campaign Terrain. Welcome, Cross. How are you this fine Sunday morning?
I am doing really well this fine Sunday afternoon here.
Yes, that's true. This has been the talk of the chat today, right? Like everyone, Michael started off. He's like, good evening," and I'm like, yes. Well, wherever you are, we don't care. We're just happy that you're here, and thanks for joining us today on this fantastic Sunday, on the foosball Sunday, right? On the foosball Sunday, we got a Super Bowl later today on the East Coast there. I'll definitely am excited. I'll be tuning in with that and checking that out. But until then, we craft. Who do we got out there in the with us joining us today? Looks like we've got going down the list here. Carl from Carl Make Stuff. Hello, my friend. We hope you are well. Who is editing away furiously for his fantastic channel. If you have not checked out Carl Make Stuff, be sure to check him out.
Yeah, he makes great stuff. I really enjoy Carl's stuff.
Yeah, Carl's fantastic. Derek Ludwig is out there. Hello, Derek Ludwig. I think he's Are you roasting coffee now? I can't remember if you put that up there in the
roasting
chat.
Coffee in a snowstorm is
in
what.
A snowstorm. How do you
He's
roast in a
really
snowstorm?
cozy.
Yeah, he's got to get pretty cozy. I put it in the chat earlier, but I am out of my coffee now, so I'm running on a couple of instant K cups, which I try not to use. I like to use reusable stuff, so better for a environment. But I'm looking forward to. I'm gonna order some Cantrip coffee to later today from Derek. So I'm looking forward to putting that in my morning cup and sipping on that. I'm excited. You have to tell me, Derek, what I kind of like. I like just like a nice bold, strong flavor of coffee. Like what you have to tell me what flavor I should order. Let me know. What do you recommend? And then Tina Martins is out there. Tina Martins, hello, Tina Martins. So lovely to have you with us today, as always. Excited to see what progress Tina has made on her Minds of Moria build. Hopefully she's put it up in the Discord. If you haven't shared your work today, head on over to the Crazy Crafter Discord. Yeah, head on over to the Crazy Crafter Discord and make sure that you post your current works in progress. I think we got a lot of folks that have put stuff up there already, but I threw the link up in the chat right now. It's there for you all. Looking forward to checking that out a little bit later. But until then, Cross, what are we building today? What are we making?
Today we're making little hedgerows, which you can use in war games or role-playing games as line of sight blockers, or if you need to use it to make a fence or a wall or a hedge or whichever. And they come out looking like this. Now I've got a whole video about this on my channel, but we're making them a little differently today.
Oh, I need to make sure if they're not linked, if those particular videos aren't linked yet, I'll be sure to add the link to the description for this live stream so you can go directly to those and check those out. The link to Campaign Terrain is up there on the description, so definitely head on over and give Cross some love and give him a subscribe, because he's got some really cool content out there, and we're excited to make this today.
Yeah, and we're dealing with both the hedgerows and the trees today, and I do have a vegetation playlist. So if you're going to my channel and you don't see the specific link, just hit the vegetation playlist, and both of those are in there.
Holler! Wonderful. Well, let's dive right in, y'all. Curious before Cross starts walking us through the hedgerows. If you've got any favorite tips and tricks on hedgerows, please, hedgerows, trees, make sure you put it in the chat. Let us know what kind of methods that you like to follow and how you create your vegetation, because it's something that I haven't created for my tabletop. All my vegetation is the shambling mound from last week is the largest piece of vegetation that I have now in my tabletop collection. So this is a really cool build, Cross. I'm excited to add some vegetation for the tabletop.
Rock on. Let's do it.
Let's do it. So what do you want to start with here?
I'm gonna go through a quick run through of what I covered in my video, but I'll make this like a minute and a half, not a whole video. and essentially what we're doing is we're taking the typical craft foam you can get anywhere. It doesn't matter if you've still got the paper on it or not, that's all going to be covered up. And that is going to sit on a base, and then it gets the vegetation on it. And that's really all there is to it. It's a pretty simple build. We're just doing it up a little different today.
Nice. I'm excited to check that out. I've got some, I liked your comment in the video about having a little bit more weighted base. I have a bunch of spare cardboard, but I've got some balsa wood still laying around. So I'm going to cut up that and add a little bit of weight to mine for that. And then I had literally pink XPS foam that was the perfect the perfect width to cut up 3 little quick hedgerows. And then instead of the tree, I wanted to try a little bit of variation. I've got these like little styrofoam balls. I'm gonna cut these up and chip them up a little bit, and I'm gonna try to make some round bushes as well for the tabletop. See how that comes out. So it'll be fun.
All right. Let me show you a couple tips and tricks on that real quick. If you want to switch to the work cam.
For sure. Let me get you going over here, brother. Because we can switch it up. Here we go. Here it comes. Here it comes. Cross. Boom! We're going to crossfade into the workstation. There it is.
Okay, so the ones I did, they've got the foam core on top. And then I put them on a piece of masonite I literally just had laying around. So this is free, and this is 2 square inches, 2.5 square inches out of an entire $1 foam core. So this is less than a penny total. And that gives it a little bit of weight, having that wood on the bottom. But you can use cardboard and then just coat the edges with hot glue, and that gives it a little extra weight. You can put washers on the bottom. You can use thick card for the base. If you've got any of the stuff that's not corrugated, it's just card. They all work the same. Or you can do like this one, and this has sand and gravel put on it before I painted it. And nice. The sand and gravel also help it to stay weighted down. Okay, and then the other tip, one last tip on that before we switch back. You can see the board is always white, of course. Or I think in England they can get black foam core, but you can just go ahead and paint that up. So most of the ones we'll be seeing today, I've already painted green, so they don't really show through if you see through the foliage.
Cool.
Good tip.
It is a good tip. I like that. Well, what's our first step here? I've got my balsa wood. What did I measure these out to? I made some longer ones today. What did I make? I've got 6-inch ones. I've got some longer ones. I know we could go shorter, but I kind of like the idea of making. I wanted some length on mine today, so I went with 6 inches at 1.5 inches height per your recommendation in the video there. I think that's kind of like a perfect, like you're talking about for an average, mini blocking line of sight and stuff like that. Kind of the perfect setup there.
Right.
Sweet. What bait are you using masonite today?
I actually have these already made, so I'm not actually making mine, but I can show it to you.
Cool.
I've got masonite on it, and sometimes it's got the texture up, and sometimes it's got it down, and it's not going to matter because, as you can see, on both the one with the foam foliage and the one with the lichen foliage, the base pretty much gets covered. You can't see that texture at all.
Nice.
So I'm catching up. So I'm making something from scratch from string and glue. I think that Cross has got some trees there with string and glue as well.
Oh, nice. Let's see the string. Let's see those builds there, Cross.
Okay, I'm holding one up right now.
Woohoo!
I don't know what you're on.
Down a little. I'm on the. Oh, there goes my beads. I'm on your crafting cam. Hold it down just a little bit there. There you go.
There you go.
Perfect.
That's what the trunks look like. These are made with just twine, hot glue, and paint. That's it. And the foliage after I put it on in my tree build looks like this.
So quick question from Tina in the chat here is, what is masonite? Masonite.
Ooh.
It's also called hardboard, and it's similar to MDF, it's actually a pressed board, like your normal press wood type board, except it's much better quality. It's held together with a better glue, and it's much smaller particles. So any hardboard will work. MDF, you used to be able to get MDF here as easily as you can in the UK, but it's really hard to find it anything less than 3/4 of an inch anymore. It's really only used for like shelves and cabinet building. So
we get it very easily here.
Yeah, and so I used to use MDF for lots of things, and I've been having trouble finding it. And the I can't remember the brand name for it, but the PVC foam sheets that you have.
Yeah,
we don't have those over here at all. I can't find those anywhere. But they'll both work.
Danny,
so 1/4 inch MDF, 1/8 inch MDF.
Danny is well acquainted with. Danny and I are well acquainted with that masonite. You must be careful if you are in the theater and you lay down masonite for the first time on the stage. I broke my leg in rehearsal for a show on freshly laid masonite down on the stage. It basically turns it into ice, and they layered paint. They put paint down on top of it. It was the dress rehearsal. It was a combination. It was crazy actor at the time instead of a crafter. And
if you look at mine right now, you can see what he's talking about. The side that doesn't have the little grid texture.
Hold it down a little bit. Bring it down a little bit there, brother. Bring it back down a little bit. Oh, yep, there you go.
Yeah. I forgot what camera. Yeah. So you can see one side's got the texture on it, and one side is like you said, like glass.
Oh yeah, it turns it into ice, but no, you don't have to worry about it sliding around so much on the tabletop. So that's good. We see you out there, Elston. Welcome, Elston, to the stream today, brother. Good to have you.
We'll be having him on here as soon as we can.
Oh yeah, we'll get Elston on here to do some painting and crafting with us. That'll be a blast. Michael and I had a good time over at the Chilling Wargamers Network on this last Thursday on the stream, hanging out with those folks, Elston and the Pickle Jar, Josh from the Pickle Jar. What a good time! If you haven't checked out the Chilling Wargamers Network, be sure to head over to their YouTube as well and subscribe. Weekly hangouts talking about all things craft and just a good time.
And Elstonation. Sorry.
Elstonation as well. Yeah, Elston's got his own YouTube channel with a lot of really good. Like it's so lovely finding all these wonderful people that know how to paint minis better than I do, because I'm stealing everything and learning so much. I gotta get better at these eyes. I gotta get better at painting eyes. That's my goal for 2021. Get better at eyes. Good morning, Zane. Zane Morgan's joined us out there too. Good morning, Zane. Zane, we can pretty much guarantee you right now is running full afterburners with his resin printer, and now his new wash station that he sent us a message the other day. His husband hooked it up, and now he has this awesome resin bath for the Anycubic, all the stuff he's printing. Zane's got an epic build going on right now, Cross, that is many stories. He's also really talented graphics designer in game, working with STLs. So he's building all his 3D models like Victorian doors, railings, and printing them out for his current crafting project. So
all the little fiddly bits, so you can get on with.
Dude, it's some really cool stuff. Cool stuff. Danny, what are you working with over there? Are you following along? You going to do some hedges with us too?
I am going to be making hedges 100%.
Nice.
I might be deviating. I don't play by the rules. A loose cannon cop who doesn't play by the rules. So I watched the videos and I was like, how would Daniel West do this? And so I've got some thoughts, and oftentimes those thoughts are just born out of like, I don't own that thing that he has, so how do I cheat? And so I'm gonna currently make some small bases really quick. I didn't just a conversation right now about having the wood on the bottom. I did watch, then I was like, I could do it with chipboard, and then I was like, I'll do it with wood. So I'm gonna cut some bases for myself really quick, and then be back following along.
Nice.
Yeah. Sounds awesome.
That sounds great.
Just before we came on air, we had a quick chat with Daniel and Cross about going to the dollar store, and Cross came up with a great quote. He calls it the $20 store.
Yeah, yeah. That's
You can't
true.
walk out without.
It's
Like I said, I used to work there, and I'd welcome people. Welcome to $20 Tree.
it's
Oh, yeah.
it's true. It's hard to walk out of there without spending just $1. It's too much goodness that comes in there. I know all of our friends in the crafting community do love us some Dollar Tree, but I think that's true. They should probably work on a name change and call it the $20 Tree. Ross is right.
Yeah.
Ross is right. Well, this is cool. What else is going on out in there in the chat, Michael? Anything? What else are people? What else? What do you got going on out there?
Everyone's chatting in amongst themselves, which is
Cool.
great. It's a nice, busy chat.
Like to see that.
Tina says, Tina's also been tuning into the Pickle Jar stream. She said, Josh made me spend £100. So she's obviously been buying more crafting gear.
More stuff. Yeah. What did you buy, Tina? You have to let us know. You have to let us know what you bought out there.
Nice. Elston is saying, I'm thinking of painting some Nazgul when I come and do some painting with you guys, and that is awesome.
All right. Well, we'll totally do some Nazgul painting. That sounds like you'd make Michael very happy. You'd make Michael very happy.
Well, you know what? That'd be perfect because, yeah, and I'm actually going to have to pick Elston's brain in advance as to what paints I should get,
Mm-hmm.
and then just kind of follow along like a free tutorial almost.
That's good though. Like that's the kind of the perfect way to go. I'm gonna that's a good one. You'll have to let us know, Elston, if there's a good place that you know of that sells the Lord of the Rings minis that we can either like get them ahead of time, or is there
Games Workshop.
if Games Workshop would totally have it, but I also have the ability to 3D print, so that would be easy enough for me. I could throw them up in the printer, fire them up. I may even be able to send them out to you, Michael, depending on how long, if we have enough advance notice to it. I could print them out and just mail them to you, and then I could same with Danny too. Yeah, I'll just print them out and we'll disperse our Nazgul like they did looking for the ring, but we'll disperse them to paint them rather than.
I will for sure be getting some Games Workshop ones at some point because I want to build up a collection. My goal for this year is later on this year is to find somebody in London who's willing to let me be a noob and play some SPG,
cool.
tabletop, Middle Earth gaming with them.
Nice.
That's a goal that I really want to do. I know I'm going to love that game. So anyway, shall we get back to it?
Yeah.
I'm getting a bit distracted by this.
Easy to do, right? With especially with us. I'm gluing mine down directly to the bases here right now, cross, and then what's the next step? Once I get these secured down, is it just a layer of Mod Podge down on the foam and paint it up? What would you recommend there?
There's a layer in the middle if you want to, and like I said, you can put down the sand and gravel just like you do on any terrain,
Sure.
and that can help weight it as well. So sand and gravel, and then that can eventually get painted up. And I do have one example of if you then don't want the brown. If you bother to paint the bases, and if you're using a brown wood, you don't necessarily need to. But if you do, I've shown how to mask them in my video, and I had one here with the masking tape on. Hold on.
So I'm that kid in class that was definitely paying attention, but for the other kids in class wants to just ask the question to get confirmation for them, not me so much. Because I'm a team player that way.
Yeah, you are.
About how tall did we make the piece in the middle? Was it about 1 inch tall?
It's about 1 inch tall, so the whole thing comes out to about 1.25 inches on the frame.
Sure.
And then once you've put the foliage on and you've actually glued some to the top, it's at least 1.5 inches high, and that's going to block line of sight for most figures.
That's perfect. And you're pulling it back 1/4 of an inch or more off of the edge of your base, typically?
Yes, the base is 1 inch wide. So,
sure. I mean, sorry, off of the short ends. So
the short end, I just bring it back a little. I measured it specifically. These are 4.5 inches. I don't know if you can see that on my grid here, but the base is 4.5 inches and the wall is 4 inches. But I also made some shorter ones, and Colin said he's making some longer ones. Whatever fits with your terrain is going to work.
I mean, as soon as I was looking at this and just like the playability of it, I have no intention of doing this. Like, it was never on my radar, but then I was like, I need to have all the things in my life so that I can make a maze. I need to make the maze at the end of The Shining. I need to make the maze at the end of, Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire. I need to put all of my adventurers in a hedgerow maze.
Absolutely.
Full of topiaries that will kill them, and shambling mounds from our last episode that will kill them. And
if you're wanting it like that, to still have it playable where you can get your hands in between the pieces without having to move them, but you want it to really look like that, I would actually go with 1.5 inches on that upright.
Mm.
So that would be an 1.5 inches tall before you put any folding.
Are you gonna if you build the Shining maze by the end of the stream, I'm gonna lose my shit.
I wouldn't be surprised.
I'm not gonna be surprised either. Danny's just like, oh, that's cool. I'm gonna build a maze.
That would just be one more record that movie set. Do you know that movie is the first movie where they ever used the Steadicam, and the production company basically told him it's untested technology, don't do that, and he did it anyway. And now everybody remembers the scene with the kid running between, coincidentally, all those hedges out in the yard, and that camera follows him all that distance. That's the first use of a Steadicam in a production movie.
Well, there we go. There we go. I did not know that bit of cinematic history. That's pretty rad. Well, now it needs to have a Steadicam. You got to build a Steadicam with it. It doesn't count if you don't build a Steadicam with it.
Yeah. 28 millimeter.
28 millimeter Steadicam.
That's about 5/8 of an inch tall. Yeah.
Perfect.
It's on the list.
What do you mean you got eye strain? What do you mean you went blind from eye strain from crafting? Well, you see.
Yep.
So Colin, just Carl just letting us know, he said, by the way, gents, the link on the Campaign Terrain channel in the description is broken. So we need to sort that out.
That has been happening a lot. Like, not just with my but I don't know why it's doing that. That's so weird.
I think it's like it's one of these things. Whenever you copy and paste a link across from the description of another video, you're actually missing a few of the digits at the end. You need to go into it needs every single digit in the
Yeah, just
so
like
it happened to me a few times on my channel.
Okay, we'll definitely go in and we'll fix that link. Thank you for the heads up on that, Carl. That's big, because the last thing I want is to have people not accessible and have cross not accessible. We'll fix that.
Don't tell anybody. I secretly sent you the wrong link just so somebody would say something. So I know people were actually going there. That's what it was.
Man. Well, we'll get you situated and squared away. I've got my little round bushes that I'm gonna paint up and get going here. All painted up here. We'll see how those turn up. I'm almost ready to start throwing some Mod Podge down and get to.
You guys with your Mod Podge. You guys with the Mod Podge. I never use it. I use it as the last thing, not the first. I have found that it's a glaze. It's a coating. Yeah. And I have to getting my next layer of paint to stick to it. It's designed to not get stains.
I've used it to seal projects for 100%. It works great. That's kind of I do enjoy it too, like layering it down at the beginning. So on yours Cross, do you just start throwing paint on the foam?
No, it's I have something basically similar. I use a 50-50 of paint and regular PVA.
Yeah.
And usually it's actually tacky glue, not just white glue. Yep. So it makes it a little thicker and stickier. It does basically the same thing. It just doesn't get that glossiness that I've had trouble with.
Oh,
that's
nice.
All. So sometimes I add textures to that. I call that my boom, because that's when things start to come together. Once you slap that first coat of solid color on it, everything becomes uniform, but then you can work from there. That's when you go boom, and it's time to start that next, it starts to come together for me. Nice. And I make my boom in colors I need. I never use black. I use a really dark gray. I've got a brown. I've got a green. I'm thinking of doing a white for some snow terrain. And basically it's just the glue and paint.
Oh, nice. Yeah, that's what's so cool about the hobby is everyone's got their preferred methods and the things that they love to do, and it's what makes the hobby so versatile and cool because you get to share all this information with everyone and try it out, see if it works for you. I love it.
And like was mentioned earlier, you look at somebody else, you go, I don't have that.
Yeah.
How can I do that? And you find a different way to do it. So somebody was talking.
I mean, I find for me, it's week by week, my methods are actually changing because but it's like I'll even adopt a small portion of what someone else does and add it into something that I'm already doing. It's every single week at the minute I'm learning something. It's so cool.
Yeah,
that's what I did with your trees. Like I said, I came across your video, Michael, and I was like, wow, I did that in like grade school. But like I said, we used thicker string and we basically made a palm tree, and our string went all the way up the tree and then out, and then we attached foliage to that string, so that became the frond. So the frond basically went all the way to the roots. But I hadn't done it since 7th grade, and I'm years old. And so when I saw yours, you made the one where it was gnarly and looked like a bonsai tree. I was like, yep, doing that. And y'all have seen this is what his trees come out looking like. So this is, if you follow Michael's method, but you want to make something like an oak, they come out looking like the one I'm holding up now.
Do you mind holding that a little bit closer to the camera cross? Because I love that. I think that, like, because I'm right now I'm going for a gnarly kind of looking tree again, but that's got a really nice, almost like a redwood kind of tree, or taller, or like you said, big oak or something.
The way I do this is one string at a time, and I'll lay it across the base and then up, and I'll put the first 3 on and glue them together to give me the central stalk, and then I'll lay the others, and I usually use 15 strands, 15 twines per tree. And it makes the roots, and the root comes here all the way up the trunk and then out to the branch. So like this to here, it might be 1 string. And then once they're all done, I'll come back and just lay down hot glue on it. And that's what gives it this gnarled bark texture. And you could do better than this. If you came by and after and like touched it with the hot glue tip and melt in things, you can make it more of like a broken up, like a pine. You know how pine is like, looks like little floating islands. You could do that with. You can do all sorts of stuff with it. This, I just ran it up to get these ready for the show today. But you can see, this is one of my finished ones, and I did it a little more blobby, and it looks more like a juniper trunk. But then my foliage doesn't look like a juniper at all. But
so, and here's just an interesting side point on these little trees. This is so Carl is a great friend of ours now. We've had him on the channel. Crafting with us a couple of times now, I think. He jumped in once or twice, and I actually, the first introduction to Carl was me and him having a discussion on YouTube about the string tree method. And he was just like, he came at me with another method, which was melting straws, and he's got a video on his channel about melting straws to make trees, and it's really cool as well. So like, I actually haven't tried his method yet. I will try it at some point, but I need to get some straws.
I watch so many crafting videos. I don't know if it's the right one. Is that the one where he takes the little snippets of the straws and melts them with the tip of the glue gun and fits them into each other?
It's kind of, it may be. I'm not actually sure right now. I think it's more he's using like grouping the straws together.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I saw somebody that they took little snips of the straw and then melted it with the tip of a glue gun, pressed straight in just to make them into a little funnel, and put a bunch of them together. And you can angle them slightly. When you glue them together with super glue, they'll hold up, and then you can it looks the types of palm trees that have a curved trunk, it works great for those.
Yep.
But I do not for the life of me remember whose video it was.
Good trick.
It's a good trick. There's all sorts of really cool stuff out there.
Keep talking so I can steal all your ideas.
Yeah, right?
Okay.
So all the ideas.
I found the one that's got the masking on it. Like I said, if you've painted the base and you want to keep it that way, and you see right here on the one I'm holding up, you can mask around the bottom edge and then attach your foliage. And then if you feel the need to paint your foliage after or anything like that, or you just don't want to get green stuck onto the base, you can just mask it around like it is here. And then once you've got everything finished, then you can just peel the masking tape off. So you want to really jump into what we were going to talk about today. We were talking about using the foliage I've got on the bocage, the hedgerows here that I'm holding, and using this style of foam foliage on the trees, because the trees have a different kind of foliage. They don't have the same foliage, and we were going to experiment, because I've never tried it, of getting this foliage onto these trees.
Oh yeah. Let's that would be now, is that something that did you trial run that already, Cross?
Oh, this is a complete experiment.
Okay, cool.
Yep. I mean, don't feel in any way that you have to wait for us to catch up or anything. You can craft ahead.
Yeah, do your thing, Cross.
And talk as you're doing.
Okay, just one thing I noticed. The foam I'm using is the ground up cushion foam, and it's the basic yellow sponge foam that you can get from anywhere. You can get the ones that look like these right here, and you can peel the green off and just use this foam, or you can use what they call a car wash sponge, which they have a whole one. It's about this big. They sell it at Dollar Tree. It's got the same yellow foam on it, and it's ground up. And when it's ground up, it ends up looking. What you do is, before you put it in a blender, I cut it into small chunks like this. They don't have to be this small, but I cut it into smaller chunks so they'll grind up easy. And you can either grind it like this. If you do, just be careful, because your blender can get it kind of stuck under the blade and get hot down by where the blade is.
That was a good tip. I remember when you were talking to me about this. I like this tip a lot, to make sure you save your blender.
Exactly. So do it in like small doses and let it sit between batches of blending. Make sure you're not doing that. Or there is an alternative to where it won't overheat. If you're ready to put the paint into it immediately, you can go ahead and blend it up and then squeeze it out so it's just moist, not super wet, and then add your paint mix to it and mix that in. And that way your foam doesn't overheat the blender and you're ready to go put the paint straight in. But if you're saving your foam for another day like I do, work in small doses. Now, once you blend these cubes up, or the chunks up, or however you do it, once you blend those up, you end up with this, which is foam confetti. And the static is insane. You will get stuff everywhere. It's worse than packing peanuts. So just be ready for that. But
just a few chat things. Everyone's kind of switching ideas here in the chat, talking about different methods. We're talking about the string trees, and Craft Maiden says, "Are we using wire in the trunks for strength?" And the answer is no.
No.
Once you twist up the glue in around the string and the hot glue, it literally sets solid, rock hard. So
if you look right here, you can see that I've got the tree. It's just string and glue, and that's it. And you can see how tough it is. And it's basically indestructible. I'll break the base before I break the tree.
Yep. I mean, the only thing that would ever be an issue is if you live in a part of the world that has a higher temperature than your hot glue.
Yeah. That can be fun.
Which,
have a pub.
Depends.
Like hell, basically.
I mean, yeah, that's true.
I mean, if you're living
in the garage in the middle of Palm Springs, that's a bad idea.
Yeah. Possibly where I live.
Possibly where Danny lives too.
Possibly
where I live, it definitely would. If I don't know if you can see, but I got my Dragon Con t-shirt on here for Atlanta. Here in Atlanta, if you take something like to the convention to use it, do not leave it in your car, because it'll melt. So it's the hot glue. That's the only thing. But if you're like, it's nice and cold here today. It's like 40 degrees Fahrenheit today.
They don't call it Hot Atlanta for nothing.
Yeah. Actually, if you're from here, we don't call it Hot Atlanta at all. But okay.
I call it Hot Atlanta.
That's fair enough. Okay.
Now, I had a thought, and I've seen it's not an original thought, but it popped into my head. You mentioned the incredible amount of static that you encounter with that foam, and I have heard of other people adding just the smallest amount of dryer sheet.
Yeah.
Into things like that, and I wonder if just blending in just a little bit of dryer sheet along with the thing probably would not affect you texturally, but might cut out a lot of that static.
Yep, I thought the same
thing. And dryer sheet takes paint really well, so any fibers that are left in there, they're going to disappear when you paint the foliage anyway. So if you blend it a long time, it ends up like this right here, and it's really lightweight and small. And I like this for small clumps for like mosses and things around rocks and things. I don't like this for tree foliage. It's just too hard to get it to go on there. So I don't know if you can see that. I can't see what that camera is seeing. So,
Oh yeah.
okay, so you can see that that's really light and really lightweight and really going everywhere. But if you blend it a little less long, you end up with it looking like this, and it comes out in chunks that are a little bit larger and easier to work with for foliage. And depending on how much glue you put into this, it works well for small little clump bushes on the ground, or for things like the hedgerows and bocage we're doing today, or looking at today. And if so, it needs more glue, but it'll come out with that. I keep picking up the wrong one. It'll come out looking like this, and you can see how that looks. Now, if you'll notice, this texture is more mottled. This has not been spray painted after or anything. This is my green, and I'll show you how I did that. I showed you the foam from Dollar Tree that comes out in the plain yellow, or it also comes in. You can find those sponges in a multicolor pack of like pinks and blues and greens, but they come out kind of uniform if you don't mix the colors. What I found I can use instead is this foam, and I do not know what it's called, but I know where to get it. This is the old style carpet pad, and you can still find it at some stores, and it's got the chunks of all the different colors in it. And if you start with that, you can get this more mottled color. This same foam is also, it's really heavy duty and tough wearing, but this same foam is also found in lots of automotive upholstery and office chairs. So if you need foam, kill an old office chair. Mine always break on me. So I go through about a desk chair a year. And I had a friend of mine knew that I was looking for foam, and he had a recliner that broke. Anywhere where you can get some foam rubber. Now this is not sponge foam. This is the thicker, higher density stuff, but it comes in this mottled color. It comes in that plain yellow. You can get it plain pink, plain green. Any of those will work. Now I was talking about gluing them up so that they'll make better foliage. For this, I noticed that the one I kept doing, you'll notice I keep losing pieces like this off of my hedges. I need to go back and glue those back on. These are just glued on here with hot glue underneath and then white glue to stick it back on as pieces fall off. So what I did in preparation for this was I glued a lot. I put a lot of glue into this and let it dry over several days. So as you can see, this is much tougher. And so what we're going to do today is, instead of using the foliage I used on the trees, we're going to use the foliage I used on the hedges on the trees. And that's what I did. It's the same foam, and I just clumped it up and put a lot of my 50-50 mix so it would soak in. I put some isopropyl alcohol on it so it would spread really easy. Make sure I got good coverage on all of the glue. And I coated one side really, really thick and let it dry. Then I flipped it over. Make sure you put on something nonstick like baking paper, or if you've got a cutting board or something that's not going to stick to. Then after that was dry,
baking paper is
same thing to the other side.
Baking paper is awesome stuff.
So that's what we're going to be doing with the trees today. Now, my original foliage is made out of fiberfill, which is the same stuff you put in stuffed animals, pillows, whatever. And this started out white. I did not buy any green. I paint mine in mixtures of 2 or 3 browns and 2 or 3 greens, and I get this dark mesh. And I'll just tear off a clump like this and sort of roll that up, and then I will glue that onto one of the branches. And then once those are all glued on, I just use hot glue for that, and it'll stick on there. And once I get those glued up, then I will come back by and put just a standard like sawdust flock on the outside, and you get this. Now this has a dark green base sawdust flock, and then I hit it with some lighter greens on top to where like the sunlight would hit. Then afterwards I seal it with just hairspray or a clear coat to get it to stay on. And as you see, these are pretty rugged. If a player's like, well, their characters, I don't know where I'm at on the camera, but if their character's down here and they can't get to it, if they know that tree's there and they're not worried about it, they can still grab the tree and move it out of the way with their, as everybody says, with their Cheeto fingers. And it's not going to hurt the tree. They're really tough when they're like this. So we're going to try to emulate the hedgerow foliage instead of the fiber foliage on the trees today. And that's what we're doing next.
So just got some more awesome tips from some of the viewers here. Bradley West, who I think we all know. You could also
he's just some guy. He's just
some guy
who's talking on the internet. Just some guy. Don't
you could You could also bulk up the trunk with straw inside to save on loading up the strings, which is a good tip. And then we've got Wayne Broadhead, who's saying coconut husk fiber works well for hedges and bushes.
It does. It does work really well.
Wayne, that's Wayne Broadhead sounds like a new. Have we seen Wayne before?
Yeah, Wayne, if you are new to the chat, please let us know by saying yes, you are new. Welcome to the stream.
Welcome to the stream.
And then we've got Dungeon Matron, who is back, which is awesome. Thank you for coming back. She was saying floral foam breaks down really well too, but just be careful that you don't breathe it in. So I think that's more for the foliage side of things.
Right. All right, so
Carl's got another suggestion. Just rather than making the whole tree out of string, you could, he said, for really homogeneous trees, you might want to build the main trunk out of sculpt-a-mold, nice strong sort of material like that, and then use the string to branch off as your branches and your roots, etc.
I've never tried to make the plaster tree. I do have some that have a dowel in the center.
Yep.
So I've tried that, but to me, it makes a much fatter tree, which is more in scale. People forget about the actual scale because D&D scale is always weird. But a tree, a good sized oak tree, is like 1.5 to 2 feet thick. And if you look at how big this is to a mini, that's just about right as with this. So if I put a dowel in it, it ends up looking too thick. But then you get some of the pine trees that can be 7 or 8 feet thick. So yeah, the dowels would work really well for something like that, and especially if you're one of those people who wants to build scale and build a 18, 20 inch tall pine tree. Yeah.
So Wayne is not new to the stream. He's been watching for a few weeks.
Oh, cool.
He lives in Sheffield, which is over here in my neck of the woods.
Oh, lovely.
Which is cool. Yep. International stream tonight.
Well, welcome back, Wayne. So glad that you joined us again. And again, all these tips that you guys are sharing are absolutely lights out. These are bangerang tips.
Zane.
Go ahead.
I was just saying that Zane is warning against the floral foam because it's quite carcinogenic.
Yeah,
it's one of those things, you know.
I agree. I think I saw Tina pop a word of warning down there, and too. You definitely. I have never crafted with it. I've
studied a lot of foam. There are 3 kinds of foam called floral foam. One is just a really loose sponge foam. That's basically like the yellow foam I was showing, but with bigger holes in it. Mm-hmm. Then there's the one that's basically that's the crunchy kind of styrene.
Yeah.
Like all the spheres and things are made out of, and when you squeeze them, they go crunch crunch. Yep. And there's a third kind, which is a really mushy kinds that when you squish it, you put your fingerprints in it, and it comes off with that little dust in your hand. And I looked that up online, and I asked, I said, I asked my Google account how, what is foam made of? And how it normally says, well, according to such and such website, it says this, and gives you the first little bit of description. It didn't even start with that. It went straight to the death word. It said formaldehyde, like right out loud, first thing. And I was like, yeah. So the spongy one that you can stick your fingertips in, don't craft with it. Don't put it in a blender. Don't heat it. Don't breathe it. Don't be anywhere near it. The best thing you can do for it, if you're going to use it, is stick it in your face and stab your flowers into it and never touch it again, because it's made out of formaldehyde, which is definitely a carcinogen.
Oh dear. Well, there we go.
Yep.
So, I seem to be doing a fair bit of talking here, Colin. Just let me know if you want me to shut up.
No, you're doing the thing. I'm currently drying all my stuff right now, trying not to blow dry directly into the microphone. So please.
Okay. Well, I was just gonna. I mean, we've been talking about crafting. I was just going to ask Cross a little bit more about how you got into craft. That sort of thing.
That's interesting. I am long backstory. I was adopted when I was 8 in the mid 70s.
Wow.
And
my daughter is adopted.
I was already a wargamer with immediately because my brothers already played them. I played the Wargamers back when Wargames were all like the little cardboard squares and you moved around and like this represents my tank division.
It's changed a little bit over time, huh?
A little bit. And so when D&D came out, I heard about it, but I'd never known anybody who played it or anything. And within 2 years, though, I found a gaming group, and they was like, yeah, come play with us. And so I was like, okay. And the moment I started playing with it, because I was already sort of a crafty kid, I was one of those kids who was always like trying to figure out how things work and sticking things together. Mm-hmm. And it just occurred to me that 3D stuff would be cooler, and how about if we build it with little walls? And I used to build with like shoe boxes as a room and just cut up cardboard and things like that. And so I've essentially been a crafter since 1979 or 80 and I mean specifically a gaming crafter. I also do cosplay and LARP stuff and
awesome
other things. Now, just doing projects just for the art of it, I never do that. Everything I do is like for gaming or for dioramas for my friends that do superhero figurines, things like that. So yeah, I've been doing that forever and ever and ever because I'm old. All right, so as you can see here, my favorite glue, as anybody who watches my channel knows, is hot glue. So all I'm doing here is I'm taking the hot glue, sticking it on. I'm trying to kind of do the underside because it makes it easier for me. Do the underside, then just take a clump and stick it on there. Now it's trying to stick to me. That's fine. We all know how hot glue works. Then I'm going to grab another piece, put the glue on the other side of that, and then sandwich the branch with the two clumps and get them to stick together. And as ever, the piece falls off, no worries. You can either leave it or you can glue it back on later. The hot glue is going to stick on immediately and it's ready to go. Actually, I'm liking how these are looking even without any blocking on them. But as you can see, this is working really well. I did not expect, this is a total experiment. I have not ever done this with this foam before. I knew it would work, but I didn't know it would work this lovely.
Oh yeah, like I'm just seeing that in the chat. Dungeon Matron has, I think, was Dungeon Matron saying that this channel may have just saved her life about the floral foam? Were you using the floral foam before? Well, good. This is. I'm glad. It's important. Like it's little stuff like that that's important to pick up. I have an adverse response to the 3D resin that I used to print. I have to wear at least an N95 mask when I work with it. Otherwise, it really aggravates my asthma. And like I think it's I don't know. It's the little things that you pick up along the craft. But the floral foam one is a big one. That's a big one. I'm glad that that's something you picked up today, Dungeon Matron. Yay.
From a crafting perspective, if you sand anything, wear a mask. Yeah. If you sprinkle anything with your fingers onto something like baking soda, fine sand, any particles, if you're like sprinkling it onto your project, wear a mask every time.
Something you're really good about, and on your videos there, Cross, like talking about the equipment ahead of time and all the safety stuff that you want to put up there ahead of time to make sure that you're crafting safely. I really appreciate that about your videos. It's important. And I think starting with that first and foremost is a great step. So it's, again, just the exclamation mark at the beginning. Don't ignore it, because if it's the hobby that you're going to be doing for any length of time, you want to make sure you adhere to all the stuff. Crazy crafter, savings lives and wallet.
Do you guys ever watch the Crazy Russian Hacker?
No.
Yes.
What's the Crazy Russian Hacker?
Well, his tagline is "Welcome to the Crazy Russian Hacker, where safety is our #1 priority."
In the Society of American Fight Directors, the saying goes, or one of the sayings goes, "Safety first, safety last, safety always." Yeah, it's a good.
Which is funny. I come from an engineering. I have an IT degree, and I've been involved in all sorts of different engineering projects over the years, and I have developed the saying, and I completely agree with it, and people get mad every time I say this, but it's true. Safety third. And the reason I say safety third is if you haven't already created the project and you haven't already checked feasibility to see if it would work, don't do it. So if you're not doing it, safety's not an issue. So plan it, the creativity stage, feasibility, make sure you have a plan that you're actually going to follow. And then before you do anything other than on paper, suit up.
That makes sense.
Suit up.
Now this is working really well, and I'm liking the way this is looking. I'm going to have to glue some of these together because they're getting a little heavy, but I don't mind heavy. It just stops my stuff from falling around. But it's using up a lot of foam. So if you make the foam this way,
heavy is
then
good. Heavy is reliable.
Exactly. Heavy doesn't go across the table when somebody gets up to get a refill.
That's true. Like
so,
it.
If you want to solve that problem, you could make some magnetic terrain. But
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Where would I find a tutorial for magnetic terrain?
Yeah, if we only had a tutorial. I'm not. It is on standby, and I can't wait for her to come on here and share with everyone.
Yeah, 100%, man.
It'll be a blast.
I believe that will happen.
Oh, you know what? Too. This is a good thing to put out there in the chat for everyone right now as we work through the craft today. You tagged me in a post today on the Tabletop Crafters Guild, and someone asked the question, what content creators out there asking for recommendations for female content creators in the crafting world. And I thought that was I don't know. I'm so glad that Tina tagged me in that, and there's several folks that I was introduced to as a result of that. I am on the hunt, and we are on the hunt. We would love to have some more. We want to have more than just a bunch of guys on here talking about crafting, because there's a lot of talented people out there in the community. So please, I know Tina tagged me and threw me another suggestion today. Emma, I'm totally going to reach out to Emma's channel. I watched a couple of her videos this morning, Tina. So if there's any other recommendations that you guys have out there, please send them. Reach out, whether it's through Discord, whether it's through emailing me, through Instagram, whatever it is. Help me connect with them, because I'd love to have them on the channel.
I have a suggestion.
Yes, please, Cross.
Okay, there's one. She hasn't put anything out recently that I've noticed, so I'm not sure how active she is right now, but I was absolutely loving her builds mid-corona when it seems that she slowed down for a while. I can't remember exactly what it's called, but it's one of on my channel. It's one of my recommended channels, and it's called something like Sorcery and Scissors.
Oh, cool.
And she does astounding work. And I was already thinking about her earlier because she made the foam wall style, the 1 inch wide foam, 2 inches tall blocks. And she did hers in a semi-modular where you can move them around. And she made a foam wall hedgerow maze. Just like we were talking about earlier.
Cool.
I was already thinking about her earlier.
You'll definitely have to connect us with a link to that channel, Cross, because that sounds fantastic.
I'll drop it in the Discord general. Do you have a general chat, or you should create a channel that's just for recommendations or something like that?
Oh, we could do that. We could do that.
And I'll drop it in the Discord or someplace later. We'll have a chat on tell me the best place to drop it, and I'll drop a link to it.
Perfect.
And then, of course, there's always
it's a good suggestion, Cross. A crazy a channel suggestion area for everyone. I like that. I'm gonna have to create that later today.
There's also this is less terrain based, but it is craft based, and a lot of the techniques are crossover techniques. There's an amazing one. I love her channel. Is called Craft Maiden.
Okay.
Craft Maiden, and yeah, she does a lot of cosplay stuff, but also just standalone kind of craft art pieces, stuff from The Witcher, stuff from Skyrim. It's really cool stuff. Yeah, nice. I think you guys enjoy that.
Okay.
I have a question for y'all.
Yeah.
Take a look at the tree I'm holding here. This is what it comes like with the foam on it. So I've got the foam on the tree, but as you can see, it's a little wiggly, which doesn't matter. It's not going to fall over or anything. But I'm thinking of gluing these and clumping them up so that they come together more like one solid mass at the top. But I'm not sure I want to. And I don't know if you think it looks better like this or if it would look better like that.
I actually kind of like it as separate little entities.
I do too.
think that's a pretty natural way for trees to end up.
Yeah, I think so too. I think what I'm going to do is the base of the outer ones, I'm going to end up trying to glue up into it, but still have them be sort of radial.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's going to look good.
Or I could take them and lean them like this and just put more glue on the bottom. And then when I let go, when it cools off, it'll provide more rigidity and push them up. So either way, so I can just come by and, you know, put more glue down here like this. Watch, I'm going to stick myself to that in just a second.
Chat says, specifically, my brother says he likes the wiggle. I don't know if that's suggestive in some way or what have you, but...
Is he talking about my wiggle of the hot glue gun?
No, the wiggle of the tree with the branches.
Oh, the wiggle of the tree? Okay.
Yeah.
I'm so vain. I thought it was my wiggling of my hot glue gun to get rid of all the wisps.
I need to improve my wisp wiggling. The wisps have been the bane of my existence.
Dude, I'm gonna have to hit this up with the hair dryer here in a second, because this is getting everywhere. Getting everywhere.
My wisps hold things off of the table so far. They're out of control.
I have decided that this foam as foliage on the trees is an absolute win. So, yay.
Nice.
I now have a new way to do that.
Yep. Yay! See, that's what it's about, brother. Coming on here and trying new stuff.
And I would not have done it if we hadn't had that talk the other day leading up to this. So
cool, man.
That is a win.
Cool.
Okay. So I'm going to let that one harden for a minute. I'm going to leave those others because it's getting stuff all over. So for the people that are interested in the hedgerows, you want to pay attention now. I'm going to show you how I attach different foliage. I'm not doing any of the lichen today. I'm just doing the foam bits, like I said before. And as I said, some of them are too loose. I didn't put enough glue in them, so I don't like using these for the trees, for the bushes. The bocage is...
I love it.
Colin and
I love bocage. You can say it all day.
So since Colin and I have been talking about this, and I have come up with this, you know, more glued foam, and it's working so well on the trees, I'm going to make some hedges with that. And I'll show you, there's no real rhyme or reason to this. I'm going to take a chunk, put some glue on it. And I definitely suggest hot glue for this rather than any other glue. I know I love hot glue anyway, but for this, anything else, you're going to have to wait for the stuff to dry. So, and then stick it on there. Then just work your way around. When you put it on the end.
Oh, go ahead. Sorry, Cross. Go ahead.
We were talking earlier about leaving that little end gap on it.
Yeah.
And the reason is if you want a specific length, you can then wrap foliage around the end and it comes out like this without sticking out past your base.
Nice. I was just saying, commenting, Cross, like, what I really like about this build, anytime I can, like, save a step or something, I enjoy painting, but what I really also enjoy, too, is just taking kind of the cheaper dollar store foam, like the foam core and the lichen that you can find from there, or I'm going to try some of this, too. It's the other kind of like a little more viney looking stuff.
The sphagnum moss.
Kind of that sphagnum moss style. But I like, as soon as you get this base paint on there and it's dry, you just hot glue this thing on there and it's ready for the tabletop pretty much. Like, it could be. You know what I mean? You could always keep going and adding more detail. And I love the sand.
You can add different colors of block on top for highlights, but basically you're ready.
It's ready to go. I love that. I love it.
Okay, and in the amount of time we've just been talking about this, I have another piece of the bocage hedge to go, because if I stick this on here and wrap that around that end, hedge done.
Hedge done.
Couple little strings of glue, but basically hedge done.
That's cool. That hedge being done. That's super cool. This lichen that's falling off too has got like some little twigs and other stuff in it too as it's falling. It's good little, just like you said. I think you said that that's where I'm getting that from, because you talked about that in your video. You talked about that in your video, picking it up and saving it because it can it can.
I'm showing you that
be
right.
used.
I'm showing you that right now.
Nice.
So I've got everything I've got that comes off of plants ends up in my little thing. And sometimes if I need under like scatter under something, like under a bush or something,
Yeah.
I can just sprinkle some of this stuff out, and it looks like little plants at the bottom because it's little plants at the bottom.
Nice.
There's no lie there.
Bradley West out there in the chat. Do you craft? Does your brother craft at all? I think I've asked this question.
He does lots of things. So
do you see where I'm headed with that?
Oh, I see. Yes, I see. He's a loud person. He might make it an interesting 2 hours of conversation.
Oh no. You have to let us know out there. Should we bring brotherly love to the stream, everyone? Should we bring brotherly love to the stream and
absolutely?
see if
I
Bradley
think that
comes on the show? I think that'd be pretty fantastic.
it'd be nice to see some of that sibling rivalry.
As someone with two brothers who got me into both model building as a kid and war games in the first place, I give that a hearty yes.
Are you guys seeing this? I'm showing everyone on the crowd. Like, I use this little Snapple cap for my glue gun so it doesn't get everywhere, but it's acquired quite a few extra acquired a few little extra stuff here today from the stream. It's got XPS and the lichen and hot glue wisp everywhere. It's getting out of control. Oh my goodness.
I found out that if I start storing plastic caps, because I get kind of a hoarder mentality, I don't store everything, but once I start, and I don't build any of the technological builds or any of that, like the Grimdark or stuff. But I noticed that if I start to save things like plastic caps for bases on pillars and things like that,
yeah,
I'll suddenly put an entire box full in like 2 weeks, and I'm like, I use entirely too much plastic. I got to cut this out.
Yeah, it's easy to want to collect stuff, and I'm like, ooh, what am I gonna do with that? I've got these giant plastic trays in the garage that are from Costco size, like a chicken pot pie or a turkey pot pie thing, and I'm convinced I'm gonna build with them. But that was like 6 months ago. I saved them, so I'm gonna turn them into something one day for one of these dioramas, for one of the diorama series. I'm gonna find something for it. I don't know. Atmoseeker was talking the other day about the gladiator fighting pit from Malta, where they shot it in Malta, but like when he was fighting everyone. Maybe I use it for that. I don't know. It'd be cool to have a nice fighting pit for the game, though, for the gaming table.
You mentioned that the other day on your live stream about the when you were doing the sword duel diorama.
Yeah.
You mentioned the fighting pit.
That fighting pit would be cool to do. It would be cool to do.
That diorama's starting to look really good, Colin.
Thanks, man. It's coming. I did a little bit more stone and texture work on one of the ruined walls the other day. If you guys haven't heard, I'm also starting to stream a couple extra days a week. I'm going to stream 3 times a week, or I'm going to try. We'll see how it goes. But I want to stream more. And the other series besides the Sunday crafting tutorials here with amazing people like Michael, Daniel, and Cross, is just a series of fighting on film. So some of my favorite fights on film, fights on television, fights in the theater. I don't care what it is. I'm gonna if I get inspired by it, I'm gonna build it. The first one that I'm working on is a Princess Bride diorama, and it's been a fun build to work on so far. So it'll be finished up. I'm gonna get it done this week. I'll finish it this week.
Speaking of which, since I've got you here, and I didn't want to keep forgetting to go message you, I thought of a fantastic one.
What is one? What do you got?
The Ramirez versus Kurgan fight in the Broken Tower from the first Highlander.
Ooh, that is a good
That tower
one.
would look fantastic.
Yeah, it would. Gosh, that's a good one. Like, see, that's the cool reason. That's one of the reasons I picked this too, is because I will never run out of cool ideas for this series. There's going to be endless stuff that we come up with. So I'm going to have to write that one down.
Have you ever seen The Count of Monte Cristo?
Yes.
Oh, yeah. I love the fight at the end. I love the fight at the end of that film.
Which version?
It's a great film altogether. But yeah, the sword play in the end of that movie is awesome.
That is.
Oh, the new one.
Yeah,
I haven't seen the new one.
the Jim Caviezel, Guy Pearce one is what we're all talking about. I think. Yeah.
I think so. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
Yep. That is a
I
good one. I actually wouldn't pick that fight at the end. I would pick a different scene. I would pick Richard Harris training Jim Caviezel in the prison cell.
Yeah. There were so many, like, the fighting in generally is like fun in that movie. It is filled with wonderful moments. Like, there are so many fun moments of the fighting in that movie. I love the grabbing the blade in the early part, and the way that moment is acted, of like Guy Pearce just like recognizing how absurd it was for him to have done that, and then just ripping it out. Throwing the rock at each other in that final fight, like just these beautiful moments of and Carl's throwing Alatriste.
Alatriste, okay, so Alatriste is definitely, I'll tell you right now, Carl, that's on the list. I don't know what to do from that, because you don't know that one? Okay.
No.
Everyone, your homework is to go watch Alatriste. Now, that's harder to do because it's a foreign film, and it's made in Spain, and I believe it's a Spanish foreign film, and it stars Viggo Mortensen. And the reason it's so good is because Bob Anderson, same guy who did Princess Bride, same guy who did Lord of the Rings, connected with Viggo on that. And I would bet you money that Viggo had some say in getting Bob Anderson to do the fights for Alatriste, because he liked working with him so much on Lord of the Rings. And
post Lord of the Rings, then.
It is post Lord of the Rings. It's such a good movie. That's some of my favorite fighting on film, modern fighting on film, especially rapier swordplay. Carl, it's so good. What a great suggestion.
So, just as a side note, because it's connected to that, who's the sword fight director in the Lord of the Rings? What's his name?
Bob Anderson.
Yeah, he did an interview and he said that basically Viggo Mortensen is the best on-screen fight swordsman that he's ever worked with.
Yeah, well, he showed up. Was it day one? Because he replaced Stuart Townsend. He showed up for Weathertop Amonzul, like that fight with the race. That he showed up, learned the fight and filmed it that day. So that is like, I can totally see, like, you show up on set, like on this big production, and you get this big fight sequence and you rock it. Like, I know for a fact Bob Anderson fell in love with Viggo Mortensen at that moment in time.
I mean, Viggo Mortensen was rad on that movie. I mean, there is in that first Fellowship of the Rings, he literally deflects a dagger as an accident.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that wasn't planned.
Yeah.
He just has the innate skill to just knock that dagger out of the air.
Yep.
He's a great sword fighter.
Yeah.
And
he's one of those people. He's one of those people, like 30 years from now, everybody's going to go like, and fireballs come out of his butt. And yeah, because every time I hear something about Viggo, it's like, oh, he just did this thing the other day. And you're like, what? Yeah, he's crazy.
Yeah.
He's good at
it's fun that he's come from the conversation. I haven't gotten a chance to see it. It's just coming out. He's directed his first film. And so he's doing some acting in that film. He's directed that film. He wrote the film, and he wrote the score for the film.
Wow.
So,
dang, Viggo leaves some for the rest of us.
Yeah. So check out Viggo Mortensen's new first directorial debut. He's a
Well, Alatriste is making the list, Carl, and that's gonna be a good one. Sí, es muy problema. There's so many good ones. There's that fight in the rain. There's all sorts of really cool stuff. That battle, it's the first movie where I've seen a pike push on screen, where you have these long pole arms between these two armies. It's at the end of the film, and you have this massive chaos of this giant pole arm battle. For those of you that the pike is very long, what is it? Like, they could be any length, but they've got some range to them, probably about between 15 and 20 feet, and they're just trying to do this fine point work and stab the other people as they're doing the pike push. So It's pretty phenomenal. Dungeon Matron's talking about they live best fight scene ever. So someone brought that up the other day, dude. Dungeon Matron. So Carl, the duelist.
That was me.
Yeah, who was it? You Cross? I was like,
Yeah.
it was someone recommended it. It's
The
someone else
glasses?
feels the same way.
On.
That would be a fun one too.
So, someone mentioned there a film where he grabs the blade. That was Count of Monte Cristo, right?
Yeah.
That is, they do it before. So there's
also.
Go ahead.
Sorry, just on that. On no, I don't know if you've seen. I'm sure you've seen Rob Roy.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
And that I love that end scene where like he's just about to like get killed by this guy and he grabs the blade and then just chops him in half. It's awesome.
So I'm looking this up to confirm something real quick. Yeah. So, on the grabbing of the blade here, there is so Count of Monte Cristo grabs the blade. Duelists, the Duelists, which Carl has recommended, which is on my list as well, for a diorama, and I'm thinking about the very first duel of the movie where Harvey Keitel. The Sneeze is a good one. They're all really good. Like any of them that take place in the open field would be cool to do. But there's the one in the very beginning where it's got that raised, elevated, like little farmhouse that I thought would be really cool to do. In addition to that, the whole movie, right? You could do scenes from the whole movie. Maybe I do a Duelist series, and just focus on that. But the blade tried to grab. They grab blades in that one, and they grab it in Rob Roy. William Hobbs, fight director for all of those, and William Hobbs also did Braveheart. Very realistic, very gritty, very natural, brutal style of choreography, and I think that's not an accident. Yeah, you have fight direction for the theater. It's a good one.
I have his book. It's a great book.
Laurence Olivier's forward in there is absolutely fantastic. I love Laurence Olivier's anecdotes that he shares at the beginning of that book.
And my brother says that as a rule, I think that all of the best fight scenes can synchronize with "Don't Stop Me Now" by Queen.
Yeah, that's. I thought about Shaun of the Dead too, Bradley. That would be amazing too. Shaun of the Dead one would be great. That's what I think of when I hear "Don't Stop Me Now." I think that's what he's referencing.
Are the signs of things you're not going to run out of ideas?
Oh, bro, there's so many. There's dude, Lord of the Rings. Lord of the Rings has got so many good ones too. Man, there's just so many good ones out there. What would you build? What would you build if you were to pick one? Let's go around the table. Cross, which would it be? They Live. Would you build a They Live diorama?
No, because like I said, all of my supplies and everything are already geared towards medievals. I don't have anything that would look good as like a building, and they're in a T alleyway, so that would actually be a little bit difficult for me to do. If I was gonna take a fight scene and make it myself for a diorama, y'all go back around, and I'll figure one out by then.
Okay, we'll throw it to Danny. Popcorn to Danny then.
So if I had to do one right now, maybe another Bob Anderson. And he directed these lesser known movies. They directed by George Lucas.
Yep.
So maybe I would probably do the first Darth versus Luke Empire Strikes Back fight. With the big window, with maybe like the moment right before Luke gets sucked out of the glass, like the break of the window, and just that moment of like the thing flying through the air about to break, and then Luke gets sucked out the window. I think is probably,
That's a good one. Good one. Michael, what about you?
I mean, a lot of them have been mentioned before. I mean, obviously, I'm actually really trying hard to think of something outside of Lord of the Rings, because I always just talk about the Lord of the Rings. But
it's okay. It's something you love. That's totally fine. But there's a lot of fights in Lord of the Rings. Like there's a lot of really epic. Like there's tons of.
Okay, well, here I think is one of the most epic moments in the Lord of the Rings is when Eowyn slays the Witch King of Angmar.
Yes.
I think
No,
that
man.
diorama could have so much going on in it, because you've got the halfling who's just stabbed the Witch King in the leg, in the back of the leg, and like, so I kind of would imagine it that like that he's still attached to the knife with that in the back of his leg, and Eowyn has just shoved her sword into his face. And to like, if you could get some sort of lighting or some sort of effect to come out of the face as well when that happens, I don't know. It could be cool.
That would be cool. I like that.
Sorry for my newbiness. What is the name of the animal that the ring wraith is riding on? What is the name of that?
Fell beast.
Okay, yep. Because
a fell beast or a black beast, depending on which book.
I just watched that fight scene, and the idea of having the curled up beheaded beast from the movie sort of as part of the diorama and the fight, like the wings, and the dead body, and yeah, I think that would be
cool.
Super cool.
Super cool. What else? I think there's what's going on in the chat. Is anyone throwing? Are you guys throwing stuff out there in the chat? Let's check in with that.
I've come up with two.
Okay, cool. We'll check back in with you in a second, Cross.
Sure.
Amy Root is talking about Ultraviolet. Zane wants Ripley versus the Queen Xenomorph.
Yeah.
Well,
Jesus Christ. Oh my
God. As well as the Indominus Rex versus the T-Rex.
Oh my
God. Nice.
Oh wow.
Dungeon Matron says pretty much any Bond movie fight scene.
Oh, the first one in Casino Royale where they're jumping through the buildings with the parkour dude.
Oh, that's a cool one. That's a really cool one. I like that.
Arya Stark killing the Ice King.
Ooh.
Oh yeah.
That's from Wayne. Good suggestion.
That's it. Wayne, and then like Wayne do part of it where he's starting to turn into ice and like crumble, and like he has it all like so like half his body below where the knife is stuck like starts turning to ice and the top half is still there. That's kind of cool. I like.
Here's a little random one. Have you guys seen the movie Hook?
Oh my God.
Yes.
I think it'd be like, I know that the fight between Peter Pan and Hook is cool, but one of my favorite sword fights is actually between Rufio and Hook.
Yeah, mine too. I was thinking the same thing. Like that fight between Rufio and Hook is really, really good. Oh, so good. I saw anything Xena, dude, Xena. I'd make it for Lucy Lawless and send it to her and be like, "Here you go, Lucy Lawless. I made this."
Oh, okay. I'm still thinking about the Rufio fight. Sorry, if you do that, it has to be the moment of the stab, the Rufio dying, and then Peter like, because he's in mid-flight. You know the moment. It has to be that moment.
And then we say, "Do you know what I wish?"
I wish I had a dad like you.
Like you.
It's so
Wait,
good.
Rufio died?
Oh, hashtag spoiler alert.
Yeah, exactly.
Spoiler alert.
20 years. We haven't seen it yet.
We've got a suggestion for the elevator fight scene in Winter Soldier.
Who suggested that?
That was my brother.
That is a fun one. That's crazy. How do you do like this little tiny elevator scene? That's pretty cool. I like that one.
So you've got the next 20 years worth of that project.
Yeah. There's the stream there's that series for the year, right? I definitely I've thought so things that I have thought of before. I have thought of that the Zane, the Ripley and fighting the Xenomorph. I thought about just a diorama of her with Newt in her arms, that classic. I remember the image from the Laserdisc cover on the back side, where she's holding Newt, but she has like the assault rifle and the flamethrower like tape together like this dope modded weapon amidst all of the eggs that are being laid, like going around. I thought that would be a cool one to like bring to life. Then I scrolled back a little bit. Amy, I saw Kill Bill. That is definitely on the list. Kill Bill.
Oh, I missed it. I missed Kill Bill.
Well, there's so many that have come in, Danny, which is cool. The Fifth Element. Oh wow.
Let me say my two. Let me toss my two real quick.
Cross, get them out there. Get them out there, brother.
Okay, so if I had a billion minis, if I had just the minis to do it with, Kurosawa's Seven Samurai, right at the big scene as the thieves come charging into the village.
Yep.
Lovely.
That is a really good one, Cross.
And if I only had one mini and not a billion, I don't know how I'd make him in midair, but when Mad Mardigan is jumping onto the top of the two-headed dragon in Willow.
Oh, that's a good one too.
The number of times that me and my best friend have like handed off the video game controller to the other one by saying, give me a sword and I'll win this war for you. You know what
Exactly.
That's one of our phrases. It's like, nope, you lost that round. Give me a sword and I'll win this war for you. And then you take over on the PlayStation. Like that is our catchphrase. So Mad Mardigan.
Mardigan.
Love
Dude.
it.
That's a good one. All Things Ripley. Yeah, The Fifth Element's another good one. Carl said he's got The End of the Fight with Chronicles of Riddick. That's another good one. I'm telling you, it's gonna be this for days. And off of yours, Cross, off of your suggestion, like I want to do a scheme in black, like do a black and white diorama. Like where
that'd be great. You just paint it all in grayscale.
Paint it all in grayscale.
That'd be
like awesome. I think, and I might have to do it with your suggestion from the thieves charging, like that ending moment from the Kurosawa film. I think that might happen.
That way you don't have to do any. You don't have to do any blood. Nobody's dead yet. I'm sorry if y'all haven't seen Kurosawa's 70-year-old film yet. I'm sorry. There's gonna be some spoilers, but nobody's died yet. The villagers have the wagons there. They've got their little pitchforks and stuff. That would just be brilliant. I would love to do that. I think
that'd be cool.
Yeah.
And a grayscale one is definitely one I wanna do. I think a grayscale one would be good. So I'm gonna say it again. Oh yeah, Court Jester. I did miss that one, Amy. I missed that one. But someone recommended that the other day too on the stream, right, Cross? I can't remember who suggested Court Jester.
Are we talking Vessel with the Pestle has the Pellet with the Poison?
Yes.
We're talking Court Jester.
Yes.
Chalice is the brew that is true.
Amy already really liked you, Danny, but now you just went up in her rank right there because you're quoting it like a boss.
What's funny is that we're thinking about this, and I'm started thinking about like, what about really bad fight scenes where you're just like, that could have been so cool, but wasn't. And the one that popped into my head, and somebody just did a diorama sort of it. I was thinking of Knight's Tale, which is not Knight's Tale, First Night. Which is
First Night. Yep.
Which is no, I'm getting them wrong. The one with
you're talking about the Richard Gere, Sean Connery one, right?
Yes.
Yeah, it's First Night. That's First Night.
Okay. The Crafting Brothers,
I believe, 1996.
The Crafting Brothers channel. One of the brothers just did a gauntlet. The gauntlet is that thing where you have to run across and the blades swing at you and there's a spiked ball and all this stuff. You need a gauntlet. And it's done with XPS foam. He made it all look like wood. It's also got some 3D printed pieces for some of the axe blades that are swinging on the big arms and all of that.
Oh, nice.
So big shout out to the Crafting Brothers. I love their stuff.
Nice. Well, that's one I'll have to look into as well. I have to because I know there's other folks out there, dudes. If you haven't seen it, you should guys head over to the Pickle Jar. Amy, I don't know if you've seen this diorama video yet, but Amy loves Die Hard, and as do we all. And Josh from the Pickle Jar. That's how I got connected to Josh, because I saw that he posted that video, and the YouTube algorithm had me pegged pretty good, and it was just like, you should watch this. And he made a Christmas diorama, but it's Bruce Willis, like from when the glass is shot out and he's running barefoot through Nakatomi Plaza, and it's epic. I was like, that is dope. So that is super cool. And it was just as I started like thinking about, I was like, I want to do some more film dioramas, and it came out, and it was creepy. It's one of those creepy things where you say it out loud, and then YouTube's like, watch this, and you're like, wait a minute.
They've proven that your phone listens to you, and if you say keywords, even if you say I hate X, you'll start getting ads for X.
It's so funny.
Because it listens for the keywords and then hits you up. And if in your phone, my PC has my Google account, my phone has my same Google account. So if my phone hears me say something, I'll get ads for on my YouTube on my computer, and I'm like, what? Yep.
So I think I may need to step out. Well, we have a half an hour left.
We're gonna finish in a half hour. We're gonna finish it in a half hour here. I'm definitely gonna hit these up in a half hour. I'm gonna finish. I'm definitely gonna finish one. I don't have to do it all right now.
Well, I think I might need to run outside to spray adhesive and sprinkle first.
Oh,
but I'm not sure how much time that takes. You know, so
I see. Well, work on what you can. We're definitely gonna wrap timely today. At right around the noon time, so we can right at noon, because we don't want Daniel to turn into a pumpkin. So
sorry, I'm a big bummer. So I've just been working on a pile of hedges of various kinds using the moss. So I don't know if that's visible on, but I was working on a corner piece, which I don't think is particularly useful, but yeah, trying to figure out how I could use these to make mazes and what have you. And, and then eventually sprinkle them all up with I have various turfs, and I made a lighter one to sprinkle on top to get that effect, which I know that you done on your channel on the improved Hedgerows video, which I watched this morning. And I really appreciate that you started with an easy peasy version, and then you showed off the improved.
Yep.
Which
he's like, we're gonna get.
I'm gonna start having more videos like that, because I'm getting tired of having 40-minute videos. So I'm gonna start doing things like breaking things up. But the one I'm releasing later this afternoon, yeah, it's long. I'm sorry about that.
No apologies. We like your videos, Cross. We like your videos.
Judging it said Indiana Jones, just for the record.
Ooh, Indiana Jones is good too. Ow, hot glue.
That's why I always use low temp.
Yeah, I got one temp on mine, and that's liquid hot magma temp. That is the temperature for this one. Ouch, that one got me good. That's all right.
Go big or go home.
Yeah, that's what I just about sent me. So I am home, and it almost made me want to crawl back into bed. That one burned.
Go big and then go to the emergency room.
Go big and then go to the emergency room. We'll switch over here in a second.
That's funny. My partner works in an ER, and she's always like, I can't tell you the number of people that come through my building that I know that the last thing they said while conscious was "hold my beer."
Oh, yeah.
Go big and go to the ER.
Go to the ER. That's for sure. Oh, that one. That's a little blister. Oh yeah, that's gonna blister. That one got me good. I went to lay the lichen right down, and I laid it like right across the rest of the strip of hot glue, trying to get through. I wanna switch on over here to the Discord server here in a second and show off some of the builds from this week. So we'll get that going here in a moment.
I don't know if you can see mine right now, but I'm trying to make a little courtyard with my tree in the middle of it with my various hedges. All the ones I've got around the outside. Yeah, all the ones I've got around the outside here are stuff I already built. And then these are the ones I just slapped together today with that extra glued foam. So these turned out great and took like no time. And then this is my previous tree with Michael's style of trunk and the the fiber fill foliage, but we're moving that out of the way because that's not the star today. And then I got the wiggly tree, and so I got a whole little courtyard here for people to go in. There you go.
I love that little wiggle. It's great.
Wiggle, wiggle, wiggle. Boop, 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 boop.
I gotta figure something out.
I'm getting a mashup in my head now. Wiggle, 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 yeah. And the old Jello, watch it wiggle, squirm.
There it is. There's my hedgerow. I'll bring it up here for you guys too. Back over here. Boop, boop. There it is.
Totally. It's looking good, man.
Yeah, man. It's looking like a hedgerow. I'm digging it. Woohoo.
Nice.
And I like the multicolored foliage. I had done that on one of mine, and I wished I had done it on two of mine.
Yeah.
I think what they look. This is what mine look like, just with one color each, and then they look a lot better This one, it looks like a candy stripe, but that's the wrong one. But this one, where I modeled it together, turned out really well. I think this is probably my favorite one that's not flocked on the outside.
Yeah, it looks good. Tina was just asking about, have you ever added the extra color onto those, like any of those shrubberies and stuff, like for multicolor? And the answer is he has. He definitely added some more flock. I think that's on the advanced one, don't you? You do that on the advanced one, right?
I do. I sprinkled, and it's this one right here that I'm holding up is the one in the video where I came by with a lighter color and sprinkled it on the outside.
Yep.
So this made with the lichen, and then this is so coated with glue. I can't even tell you. It's like rock hard. This is made with the lichen, and then this one I hit with the spray glue really heavy and dipped it into the dark green flock. And then once that dried about 10 minutes, because that spray glue doesn't take any time to go off, I hit it with, this actually has 2 other shades on it. So this has this really dark green, a sort of medium green you can see in here that I made sure to hold it at a slight angle to get it on. And then the light green just on the top to look like it's sitting in the sunlight. So, yeah.
Let's do this.
I have definitely good idea. Sure. So I'm very glad she thought of that as well. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, great minds.
I say she's with you.
It's been a while since I've made a tree, and I have to say that I've really enjoyed making this tree today on the stream. It's been great chat.
Yeah, this is a lot of fun. I definitely am digging those.
This particular method with the hot glue and the string, it does take longer. But like the level of, I mean, and I guess you could do the same thing with wire and with pipe cleaners and stuff. But whenever you enjoy something, time isn't necessarily an issue. Do you know what I mean? If you enjoy a certain method, and it works for you, I just love the way that the string and the glue makes the tree trunk-like texture straight away. Yep. And you can really control the direction of the branches. It's awesome.
The way that the trees are made like that, most things that take me a longer time irritate me, and I'm like, oh, I got to get to the next step. This is driving me nuts. How do I speed this up? And those trees, it's like total meditation. Put on some good tunes, listen to a podcast, whatever, and just sit there and craft those together. And like I said, I always use a low temp, so I'll hold the string, I'll have it already there, I'll lay down a line of glue, push the string into place, press it in with my hands, make sure it gets into all the fibers so it holds really well, move on to the next one. It's very meditative for me.
Yeah, nice. I agree.
Well, I want to switch over here, guys, to we're going to switch over and check out some
I'm going to join. I want to have a look here as well.
We're going to switch over to the Discord, and we're going to take a look at some works in progress here. Shoo-boop.
I am sad I don't be able to see that right now, but I've seen most of them on the Discord already, so I'll go back and look.
Uploaded some good ones up there today. So this is from Carl. Carl makes stuff. He's making this. He sculpted this monster on top of one of his recent bases that he's been experimenting with on kind of like a sewer tile area on his channel. But he's got this awesome monster that he sculpted up here. This looks really good, Carl. I love all the colors on this. Is this is this one of your own creation? It looks like a beholder squid to me. I'm calling it a beholder squid until you tell me what different. I love it though.
I think it is a beholder he's working on.
It looks so cool. I love it.
The one with the eye stalk railing?
Yeah.
Oh, that looks so good.
It looks
I like that.
really good. I'm digging this a lot. This looks really good.
It
comes off.
It looks beholder, but in motion, which I don't think is like something you ever see, right? Like you don't see like them moving from point A to point B. You see them with the stalks pointed at things menacingly.
Yep.
And like I think it's just so cool looking.
Yeah. This sculpt is something I want to do. I've said it before. Like I had a really good time sculpting last week. The Shambling Mound, and then Michael's Shambling Mound. Like all of that. All the sculpting was a ton of fun, so we're gonna have to do more of it. Maybe that's you coming back on the show here soon, Carl, and sharing some sculpting techniques with us. You'll have to let us know when you're available, brother, and we'll get you back on here. That'll be fun. Oh, here we go. Here's Wendy from this Pirate Queen Pickle herself working on her He-Man mini. Dude, this mini is so cool. This mini is so cool. I love this one. All the stripes that she's putting on this armor is going to look epic. This looks
Battle
really
Cat,
cool, Wendy.
freaking
Yeah, the battle cat looks awesome. It's really, really good colors that you're getting in there, Wendy. And Wendy's saying she's gonna maybe start messing around with dioramas. This will be cool. This is from Lord Mugglestone. Look at Lord Mugglestone's build. Look at this. This thing is dope. Look at this. This awesome house. I love the chimney. Look at that chimney.
I'm a few seconds behind on the.
I know, it's okay. It's all groovy. If you open up, you don't have the Discord yet, do you, Daniel?
No, I'm the worst.
No, you're not the worst. You're not the worst.
I feel like get off my lawn. It's new technology.
Get off my lawn. This house looks great. I love the colors. I love the This is definitely kind of my style, Lord Mugglestone, about my aesthetic of painting. I really love it. I love that pointed roof. That's looking really cool.
The chimney looks awesome as well.
That's what
I
I'm
love
saying. The chimney looks absolutely fantastic. I love. It's got like a slight curvature to it. It looks great. Then the roof comes off, so this thing's playable. Redonkulous. Look at that. Lord Mugglestone, this is really good work. Thank you for sharing this. Golly. All these big windows. I love all the texture from the woodwork to the stucco of the house. I wonder how they did those windows. Is it just like foam that's painted behind there? I just like kind of like that frosted look to it. I really am digging this. Ugh. And here's the interior, playable inside. Ah, so cool. With the chimney complete on the inside and fireplace. Look at that. Look at that wood grain texture. Are you seeing that, Michael? Do you have it up right now? That is nuts.
Yeah, I'm watching it.
That's
I love
really, really cool.
I'm eating biscuits.
Ooh, biscuits. Ooh, a biscuit. I want a biscuit.
I like y'all's biscuits. I like y'all's biscuits. I don't like our biscuits.
Yeah. I mean, I like our biscuits with gravy, sausage gravy on top of it. That'll take. It's not the same biscuit, though.
No.
It's not the same biscuit. I know. I'm hungry, and I want biscuits and gravy. Oh! This looks familiar, Lord Mugglestone, as well. Look at Lord Mugglestone's wagon. Oh, look at it sculpted. Lord Mugglestone sculpted some door the hinges and the handle on here. Rolled up the side for this canvas. That is foam. Just rolled the foam up. That's so cool. This is from Hosenfeld's wagon build a couple weeks back. This thing is epic. Oh, this is cool. Really good work, Lord Mugglestone. Love the canopy with the rope on top here. Just used foam instead of a canvas material. That's gonna look really cool.
Lord Mugglestone.
Yeah, I think
Go ahead,
we're on the
Daniel.
same page, right, Michael? So Jesse in our chat right now is Lord Mugglestone on the Discord. So you should definitely throw Jesse some love.
Oh, Jesse. Nice. Jesse Burster, your builds here are looking really good, brother. We are digging them. Throwing you all the love right now, dude. These are great. You'll have to tell us, what did you use to sculpt the the hinges and the metal on this? This looks really good. And did you use the same stuff to like coat the outside here, and kind of looks like you used that to help adhere the foam canopy down onto the wagon here. But all of this edge work, everything from the ridges here on the edge of the side planking, all of this texture looks fantastic. The little caps that you put around the wheels. Let me go back to the wheels so you can see it. But these little metal caps that you can paint up are going to look super cool. This is some really nice detail, Jesse. It looks really good, brother.
Yeah, and my brother pointed out it's the little rolls up on the side.
Yeah.
Oh, the cart. Oh, they're so good.
Yeah, these are great. Like all of that's gonna look absolutely fantastic.
I actually just finished my Hosen wagon this week as well.
Oh, where is it? We have to get it. Do you have it on standby there? We'll show it off here in just a second.
I like the name Hosen wagon.
It is the Hosen wagon, the Hosencrafter Hosen wagon. Let's see. This is Jesse. Once again, thank you for sharing all that. That is absolutely fantastic.
I love the top of that. The canopy on it's great.
Yeah, the canopy is fantastic. Darth Ludwig, Derek is working on his never-ending cobblestones are almost done. He's been doing some individual cobblestone, laying down that work for his Spanish style architecture village. This is looking really good. All that cobblestone's gonna look fantastic painted up, brother. This is epic. You must feel very zen after all that, because that's a lot of zen work that you're doing there.
So yeah, Jesse put into chat about that he was using foam clay. I've never heard of foam clay. Do you guys?
Oh, yes. I recently became familiar with foam clay because they use it a lot in kids crafting, right? You can take this foam clay and it basically rolls out to almost like a very lightweight EVA foam or EVA foam, like the mats, but it's super thin. I would say it rolls out to the texture of like similar to the dollar store foam core stuff. Is that right, Jesse? My son got some from we went and did a drive-through Jurassic Quest adventure a few weeks back, and one of the things they gave him was like a little foam clay thing, and I think it was foam clay, because he was like, "Look, Dad, I made foam," and I'm like, "That's clay." And he's like, "No, it's foam now," and he showed it to me. And you could shape it however you want, and it was this foam clay. And then that prompted me to go looking it up, and sure enough, that stuff exists. It's really, really cool. Amy says she uses it for his mom to teach her mom to teach kids art. Nice. Yep.
I do a lot of cosplay and LARP, and for a lot of the foam armors, you can get a lot of really cool detail, like stuff that looks like it came straight out of the newest video games, with all those curlicues and stuff on like WoW and stuff on the armors. It's ornate. You can do that by laying the foam down on top of it. And there's different kinds of foam core, and you can find them if you go look at if you look up cosplay foam clay. There's about 3 different suppliers that all make really good stuff, and it comes out a little heavier than the stuff you're talking about. Is from I can't remember what company it is, Crayola. And Crayola has one, but it's really lightweight and it's a little more brittle than some of the heavier duty ones for the cosplay. So yeah, but the foam clay is really cool. I've worked with it. I don't have a piece right handy to show you, but I've worked with it, and it's really good for like what we do with our type of crafting. You could make stalactites like that quick.
Oh, nice. Yeah, that I'm definitely anxious to see how, I want to play with it more. I just want to play with it more. That's what I want to do. That's what I want to do with it. Boop. Right. Okay, let's go. What else we got here? It's cobblestone meditation. Zane's tripping out on laying cobblestone. Yep. Derek Zen as fuck, y'all. Yep. It certainly would be. Oh my gosh.
On to Tina's epic builds.
Epic build, this Moria build. This is some works in progress. Tina is working on the Mines of Moria and has been. This is going to be cool. So this is our work in progress. I can see the nice texture works going into the stone here. All the framing on the side here for the doorways, the stairs. This looks really cool. Oh my God, Tina. This is looking so good. So cool.
Honestly, I can't wait to see
I can't wait to see this done up either. This is so cool. Oh, a very important part of the crafting right over here on the left-hand side of the picture. Can't craft without the wine.
Yeah, a quick question for Tina, actually, in the chat. She was saying that this is because she's got a whole bunch of little dwarves.
Yeah.
Has she started painting up the dwarves yet? Or is that going to be another whole epic, couple of weeks of just flat out painting dwarves?
Yeah, that's going to be fun. That's going to be fun to paint up. You'll have to post pictures of that process. I'm really anxious to show. She's got these. I'm not sure if these are made with the embossers. Let me go back here. She showed me some embossers that she's been using recently to create some of these really cool textures. Might be this diamond one right here. I'm not sure if that's created here, Tina, from the diamond, and then on the door right here. You have to let us know. But those embossers, you're going to have to talk to us more about those too, because that was a really cool find when she shared that with me recently. I'm really digging that. Look at here, these pillars coming into play that she's been experimenting and playing around with. Look at this. So good. Agreed, Jesse.
we're not saying a build like that takes a long time, but she's been working on it ever since the animated version came out in the 80s.
This is coming along. This is so cool. Love all the different textures you're getting in each of the rooms here, Tina. So cool. So cool. No, this one was made with the roller. Look at it. It's coming in. Look at that. Oh, it's got the light, this lighting effect from the light of the mines. This is so cool. What an epic build.
I look at all these great builds, and like I see the courtyard, the cross is made. I see the Mines of Moria, and every single time I see it, I think to myself, "Yeah, I'd kill my party there." Like that's a.
I got a really simple, easy one for you. Then I'll show you.
That one's so cool right there. The one with the colors, the browns, and everything, and beautiful. Tina was saying that. Like normally Tina builds for other people. Like she very rarely keeps any of her own work, but this is her own personal passion project that she's going to keep for herself.
Good.
It's awesome.
I love this archway. To the entrance to the Mines of Moria. Bella. And we need to utter before we enter. I'm glad you're keeping this one for yourself, Tina. This is quite epic. I love all this detail. Oh my gosh. And then it's lighting up. Look at it. Ah, it's so good. The light behind the door. See, that's what I'm gonna try to do I want to add some light to my Princess Bride diorama for the sky, and it's just in like one little area that I want to do it, but it's gonna be worth it because this little addition to adding the light effect, you can achieve it with a bunch of stuff. Oh, look at this. What's this? Who's this crazy little furry? Is this this is the mean version of Kermit the Frog. That is definitely that will sing about your song and kill your party.
He's finally had enough of all of Miss Piggy's abuse.
Oh my gosh. Dude, I love this build, Michael, and I love the fact that you made this into your video this week. I totally see where you were talking about, like, it springing out. Like, it was in hiding. You can see where it was laying down. And then it's just springing into action, ambushing the party. It's such a good build, brother. I really, really like how your Shambling Mound came out.
Thank you, man.
So good.
I don't know if that thing shambles. I think that thing goes.
It goes.
You know what I mean?
It doesn't shamble.
It goes.
Sprinting man.
Look at this one. This is the glitter mod podge that Tina is sharing for everyone. That is glitter bomb. Yeah, glitter mod podge. I'm gonna have to add that to the arsenal. Oh.
Sounds like some people's nightmares, but that's all right.
Foam clay. Amy Root's got a good. Did you build this, Amy? This is so cool. This is so cool. This is an example of the foam clay that we were talking about earlier. This is great. Look at that. That's cool. We're definitely going to have to do some foam clay stuff. This is so cool. Oh my gosh. Look at this cute little frog. Lunging mound. Bradley West says lunging mound. Yes.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. This is so cool.
Oh, wicked. I love the little trolls. Those little foam clay trolls.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Oh, a little R2. Oh my gosh. Wait till you guys see it. It's so cute. The foam clay is so cool. Look at all the foam clay. Okay, I'm done. These are great. I love these.
It's expensive. You can get a pretty, fairly copious box of a pretty big box of it at Walmart for like $20.
Nice.
All right. Good advice.
Good note. Look at this. Zane's got. Thank you for sharing those examples of the foam clay there, Amy. That's great. And then this is Zane. So this is what I'm talking about. We'll have to do just an episode. We've talked about it with Zane already, where we are going to have to get really good or familiarize ourselves a little bit with Blender. It's it's free software, but just figuring it out and being able to design some STLs with Zane to come on here and show us how to sculpt some stuff for the 3D.
That'd be awesome.
I'm going to be watching that. I have no 3D skills at all.
Right?
I'm definitely
It'd be great. So Zane, this is but one thing that Zane has designed recently. It did remind me of the trolls from Frozen 2, Zane. Those are super cute. I like those. But this fountain's looking great. This fountain's looking great, Zane. I love it.
You're a wizard. You're
Yeah,
a wizard.
you are a wizard. You're a wizard. You're certainly a wizard. This is so cool. You guys, as always, just blown away by all of your abilities to really you guys are insanely talented out there in the community. Thank you for sharing that work. It always serves as a constant inspiration for me whenever I'm working on projects or throughout the week. So I really dig that you guys are making the Discord server pop. Not One Videos has a Discord server too. If you haven't joined that, please make sure you head on over there and check out the Discord. You can find the link on his YouTube page. And if you haven't done so, and you're like, man, we really had a good time tonight, or today, or this evening, or wherever you are, and you enjoyed yourself, be sure to subscribe to the channel. Subscribe to the Crazy Crafter channel. Head on over to Campaign Terrain. Check out Campaign Terrain. Give Campaign Terrain Cross some love over there. And of course, if you're not familiar with Nat One Videos, you should head over there and check out Michael's channel too. There's just
check out. If you like the trees today, go check out his channel on how to make them, and then you can check out mine. But mine will just be a refresher. He did a much better video on the tree build than I did.
It's cool. It's lovely to get different perspective, right? Different voices from different styles of crafting is absolutely fantastic.
Exactly.
Well, Cross, this is fantastic. This has been a great day. Like these, I'm really happy. I really liked the smaller little round hedges that I came up with here for my shrubberies, as Amy called them earlier. But I got a couple of the smaller, like little half round shrubberies that I was able to create. And then, you know, the walls here itself. I only got one finished, but I can finish up the others here. That'll be my craft here with my son as soon as we finish the stream. These are absolute. I love these, Cross. These were such a quick build. Now I have to add some trees to the mix. That's going to be my project this upcoming week.
Yeah,
we'll do a quick recap here. Take a look here, and I'll show you just to make sure everybody sees what we covered here. These are those trees that we're talking about that Michael reminded me of, and I started to make. So they're almost indestructible. So we got those. So we didn't cover that today, but you can see how to do it on either his video or my video. Then my version of the tree where I used the fiber and then coated it in flock. That's the one that I had when I started. Here's one that I just coated again in the fiber so you can see it in sort of the interim before it gets flock. Here's the one we worked on today where we used the foam foliage that I had been using on my hedgerows. I made these 3 today, but they're basically made like my other ones from before, just different color foam today. So that I just stuck these together today, took no time. This is that tree I put together in, what was that, 5 minutes, 10 minutes?
Yeah.
And so it's the wiggle tree. And it, I think I was not knowing exactly how this was going to work out or not. And it came out looking great. So we got that. And then just because I figured I used the foliage and I used the hedgerow foam on the tree, but I'd never used the fiber on a hedgerow. So I tossed one of those out here real quick. So I'm going to flock that later and have a whole different one. So you can always mix and match it. If you don't have a material available, use something else. Something will work and it'll always look great. And like I tell everybody, I quote Magneto every time somebody crafts something. I'm like, this is my first craft, but I don't know how good it is. I'm like, you started, and most people never even start. And to quote Magneto, you're a god among insects, and don't ever let anybody tell you different. Just go do it.
Yeah, you bring up a great point. If you get an idea, it doesn't matter if it's you know, the worst case is it's you learn from every craft, every project. Don't be afraid to try it and fail. There's no, like, it's hard for something to fail in this craft, in this hobby. So just make sure whatever it is out there, you gotta it's like I've said it before, you gotta craft your passion daily, no matter what it is, and it's gonna be a great learning experience no matter what. And that's the pure joy of every week of gathering us together and having new folks on with all sorts of different perspectives is gleaning all that wonderful information from everyone's exploration within the craft and all the joy that it brings them, and it shares that joy and all those fantastic ideas with all of us here. It's great.
Absolutely, it's
fantastic.
So before we truly sign off, because Carl mentioned it, I did start working on a topiary. I just wanted to bring that forward. So now I have my 6 hedges and 4 corners, and they can all lead to this weird topiary for the middle of this garden that I'm hoping maybe will come alive and kill my party. Because I'm always looking for a new way to kill my party.
If you're making the topiary garden, we're right back to you need to make a tiny little in-scale steady cam.
There it is. There it is. Danny
It's
coming
only
in
2
through.
hours long.
Danny coming through clutch with the topiary. Well, everyone, thank you so much for joining us today. We're here every Sunday doing the crafting tutorials, and we look forward to having you all back again this week. Join me Wednesday and Friday this coming week as I finish up the Princess Bride diorama. If you're around, Cross. Thank you so much for joining us today and sharing your builds with us.
Wealth of knowledge.
Thank you, Michael. Thank you, Danny, as always. Thank you to all of you out there. We're definitely looking forward to having you back again in the future, Cross. And until next week, be sure to craft your passion daily. And
just before we go,
do you
want to mention who we've got next week, etc.
Oh yeah. You guys should tune in next week. We've got Luke from Geek Gaming Scenic Designs coming in and joining us next week. So gonna be a little bit of, I think we're doing a Q&A format with him.
Yeah, more like that. Yeah,
more like a Q&A. We may be crafting something, and I may try to do some of his techniques from his channel. But if you've got your scenic questions, we may throw up a subsection in the Discord for questions that you want to have asked, but definitely tune in with us. It's going to be a great time to pick the wonderful mind. Luke is such a generous individual. We just connected with him this week, and we're really excited to have him on next week. So definitely tune in.
And if you're just getting into crafting and you're trying to set things up, now he's a master level. So but it's something to aim for, but he gives lots of pointers. And his last video this week was he's just moved into a new space, and he's going to be showing videos as he gets the space laid out to where it's easy to work in. So that if you're just starting to get into this and you don't really know how your workflow is going to go or anything, this is definitely the time to check out Geek Gaming.
Yep. All right, y'all. Thank you so much. Tune in with us next week as we hang out with Luke, and definitely tune in to hang out with me and help me finish up this Princess Bride diorama this week. Till then, be well. Craft your passion daily, and we'll see you all next week. Cheers, y'all.
Thanks for having me. We'll see y'all later.